Hello. Second census is complete. 601,730 men counted in the plains of Moab. The land is about to be divided by lot according to tribe size. The system is set. Then five women walk up to the entrance of the tabernacle. Their names are Makla, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirzah, the daughters of Zelophehad, Ben Shepherd of the tribe of Manasseh. Their father died in the wilderness. He had no sons. Under the current inheritance system, this portion of land would simply disappear, absorbed by the broader tribe, because there was no male here to receive it. The daughters did not accept this. They came before Moshe, Eleazar the priest, the leaders, and the entire congregation at the entrance of the tabernacle, and they made their case. And the creator said to Moshe, "And the daughters of Zelophehad speak what is right." Stay with me. Verse 27. Welcome to Torah Sax Studio. Torah study with saxophone worship, verse by verse, scripture. Verse 27 has two distinct movements that cover the full arc of covenantal leadership. The first verses 1 through 11 is a case of the daughters of Zelophehad and the Creator's ruling that expands the inheritance law. The second, verses 12 through 23, is the Creator's command to Moshe to view the land he will not enter, and the appointment and installation of Yahushua ben Nun as his successor. Like and subscribe because Numbers 27 has a word for every person who has ever stood before a system that had no category for them and brought their case before the Creator anyway. Open with me to Numbers chapter 27, verse 1. It says, Then came the daughters of Zelophehad, Epher, son of Gilad, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, clans of Manasseh, son of Joseph. And these were the names of his daughters. And they stood before Moshe and before Eleazar, the priest, and before the leaders and all the congregation by the doorway of and saying, "The father died in the wilderness, yet he was not in the company of those who were met together against the Creator, in company with Korah, but he died in his own sin, and he had no sons. Why should the name of our father be removed from among his clan because he had no son? Give us a position among the brothers of our father." Moshe then brought their case before the Creator. So we see the five names, and the Torah preserves all five. They are not anonymous petitioners, they are individuals with names and a legal standing. They stood before Moshe, these are the priests, before the leaders, and before the entire congregation at the entrance of the meeting. The statement is careful and strategic. He was not in the company of those who gathered against the Creator in the company of Korah, but he died for his own sin, and he had no sons. This statement is careful and strategic. They are establishing their father's legal standing. He was not among Korah's rebels. His death was ordinary, not a consequence of covenant rebellion. His name deserves to continue. The legal argument is precise. The inheritance law, as currently understood, would erase their father's name from Israel's land record. They are not asking for more than their father's portion. They are asking his portion not disappear. And they came before the full assembly. The setting of the daughter's presentation is significant. They did not bring their case privately to Moshe. They stood before Moshe, Eleazar the priests, and the entire congregation at the entrance of the tabernacle. This is the highest possible legal forum in Israel. The tabernacle entrance is the space where the Creator meets the community. By presenting their case there, the daughters of Zelophehad are not merely making a legal argument. They are placing their petition in the space where the Creator's word is seen and received. Their legal argument has three components. These are their names, this is their lineage, character. Their father was not a rebel. He died for his own sin and deserves normal covenantal treatment. And equity. The current system places a faithful man's name in the land's record simply because he had to have daughters instead of sons. Each component is necessary. Without establishing identity and character, the equity argument has no legal standing. They were not simply complaining about fairness, they were making a structured legal case because before the highest court in Israel. The daughters of Zelophehad did not work around the system. They did not bypass motion or go to a law court hoping for a more favorable ruling. They came to the entrance of the tabernacle, place of the greatest presence, and presented their case to the full assembly. Numbers 27 honors this approach. When you have alleged in a case, a place where the existing understanding does not account for your situation. Torah's model is not to complain privately or to circumvent authority. It is to bring the case clearly with evidence before the appropriate authority and let the creators rule. 5 names recorded in Torah. They stood before Moshe, the priest, the leaders, and the whole congregation at the tabernacle entrance and made their case. Not privately, not a lower court, to the highest forum in Israel, in the space where the Creator speaks. Numbers 27 says, when you have a legitimate case, bring it before the right authority. Let the Creator rule. Let's read on from verses 6 to 11. Moshe brings their case before the Creator. The Creator speaks to Moshe. The daughters of Zelophehad speak what is right. You shall surely give them a possession of an inheritance among their father's brothers, and transfer the inheritance of their father to them. Then verse 8 through 11, the Creator immediately expands ruling into a general law for all similar cases. And you shall speak to the children of Israel, saying, if a man dies and has no son, then you shall transfer his inheritance to his daughter. If he has no daughter, you shall give his inheritance to his brothers. If he has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to his father's brothers. If his brother has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to the nearest kinsman of his family. He shall possess it. And it shall be to the children of Israel a statute of judgment, as the Creator commanded Moshe. Mishpat, a statute of judgment. The Creator does not merely rule in the daughter's individual case. He uses their petition as the occasion to establish the full inheritance priority sequence for all similar situations in Israel. So the Creator ruled and expanded the law. The Creator's response to the daughters of Zelophehad is one of the most direct affirmations of a legal petition in all of Torah. The daughters of Zelophehad speak what is right. Hebrew is emphatic. Ken, yes, right, correct. The Creator validates not just their request, but the quality of their legal reasoning. They brought a good case. The Creator says so explicitly. What is equally significant is what happens immediately after the individual ruling. The Creator does not simply solve the daughter's problem and move on. He issues a complete inheritance priority sequence: daughter, then brothers, then father's brothers, then nearest kin. That becomes a permanent statute for all of Israel. The daughters of Zelophehad did not just win their case. Their case became the foundation for a legal principle that protects every family in Israel with a similar situation. Their names are in Torah precisely because the law they brought into existence carries their case as its origin. The daughters of Zelophehad brought a case that exposed a gap in the existing legal framework, not out of rebellion, but out of a genuine concern for equity and the preservation of their father's name. The Creator's response was not to defend the gap, but to close it. Numbers 27 says, when a legitimate gap in understanding is brought before the Creator with the right legal posture, identification, character, and equity, the Creator does not just resolve the individual situation, He uses it to establish a broader principle. Your case may be the origin of something larger than your individual situation. The Creator said, the daughters of Zelophehad speak what is right. Then he immediately turned their individual case into a general law for all of Israel. They didn't just win, their news became the origin of a legal principle that protects every family in a similar situation. Now, verse 27 says, a legitimate case brought to the right authority with the right posture can change the law. Let's read on from verses 12 to 17. The Creator speaks to Moshe in verse 12. Go up into this mountain of Abarim and see the land which I have given to the children of Israel. When you have seen it, you also shall be gathered to your people as Aaron your father was gathered, because you rebelled against my word and furtherance of sin, in the dispute of the congregation, to hold my holiness at water before their eyes. This is Meribah and Kadesh, the wilderness of sin, the rock that was struck in Numbers 20. Moshe receives the announcement of his own death. He will see the land and you will not enter it. The word spoken at Meribah is not reversed. Moshe's first response is not grief, it is not argument, it is not a second request to enter the land. Verse 15 to 17 says, And Moshe spoke to the Creator, saying, Let the Creator of the spirits of all flesh set a man over the congregation who may go out before them and come in before them, who may lead them out and bring them in, so that the congregation of the Creator may not be like sheep that have no shepherd. His first prayer after hearing the news of his death is a prayer for the people who will be left. So we see a leader who prayed for his replacement. His response to the announcement of his own death is one of the most revealing moments in the entire leadership, his entire leadership. He does not grieve publicly. He does not plead for reversal. He made that request in the very man received his answer. His immediate concern, stated in prayer before the Creator, is the welfare of the congregation after he's gone. People need a leader who goes out before them and comes in before them, a military and pastoral leader who does not send the people out alone. The phrase Moshe uses for the kind of leader Israel needs, one who goes out before them and comes in before them, is military language. A general who leads from the front, not from behind. But the image Moshe appears with it is pastoral, so they will not be like sheep without a shepherd. Moshe sees the congregation the way the Creator sees them, as people whose leader visible, present, physically courageous leader. His prayer for his replacement is also a definition of what genuine leadership looks like. The measure of a great leader in Torah is not how long they hold the position, it is whether they use their final season to secure the welfare of the people after they're gone. Moshe had just been told he would die without entering the land, and his first thought was for the congregation, not for himself. Numbers 27 asks every person in a position of leadership, when your season ends, by choice, by circumstance, or by the Creator's announcement, will your first prayer be for the people who remain? Moshe wrote that he would die without entering the land, and his first prayer was for the people. Let them not be like sheep without a shepherd, not grief, not argument. Prayer for his replacement. Numbers 27 says, the measure of a great leader is whether their last concern is the people who come after them. Let's read on from verses 18 to 23. Now the installation of Yahushua. The Creator answers Moshe's prayer immediately. Verse 18, take Yahushua, then Nun, man in whom is the Spirit, and lay your hand on him. Set him before Eleazar the priest and before all the congregation, and inaugurate him in the sight. Three instructions: take him, lay your hand on him, set him before the full assembly, and you shall give some of your authority to him, Miyadka, so that all the congregation of Israel may hear. Miyadka, from your Yad, your majesty, your splendor. Not all of it, some of it. A transfer of visible authority, not a replacement of all of Moses' function. The Creator makes a distinction. Eleazar, the priest, will inquire of the Urim before the Creator on Yahushua's behalf for decisions, whereas Moshe had spoken to the Creator face to face. Yahushua's authority is real but different in kind from Moshe's. Moshe does as the Creator commanded. He takes Yahushua and sets him before Eleazar and before all the congregation. He lays hands on him, plural, both hands, and inaugurates him as the Creator commanded through Moshe. So we see succession by the Creator's design. The installation of Yahushua in Numbers 27 is a deliberate public act. The Creator specifies, set him before Eleazar, before all the congregation, and inaugurate him in their sight. The transfer of authority is not done privately between Moshe and Yahushua. It is witnessed by the full assembly. The congregation needs to see the transfer in order to follow the new leader. Yahushua's authority is not self-declared. It is conferred publicly by the one who holds it at the Creator's explicit direction. The laying on of hands, Seneca, is a physical act of transmission. Moshe places his hands on Joshua, and Torah says Joshua was filled with the spirit of wisdom because Moshe had laid his hand on him. Something transfers in that. The physical gesture is not merely ceremonial, it is a vehicle of an actual transmission of capacity and authority from one leader to the next. The tradition of Seneca that runs through Israel's entire leadership history begins here in Numbers 27. Numbers 27 establishes that legitimate succession requires three elements: the right person, Yahushua, a man in whom is the spirit, the right act, laying on of hands, a physical transfer, and the right witness, full congregation. Succession that lacks any of these three elements is incomplete. The person must have the spirit. The authority must be physically and formally transferred. The community must see it happen. In the transitions of leadership in your community, congregation, or family, are all three elements present? The Creator told Moshe, take Yahushua, lay your hand on him, set him before all the congregation in their sight. Three elements: the right person, the physical transfer, the public witness. Succession that skips any of these is incomplete. Numbers 27 says, legitimate leadership transfer is always done in the sight of the people being led. Numbers 27 is the chapter where a legal gap becomes a new law and where the greatest leader in Israel's history uses his final seat to secure the welfare of the people who come after him. Let's look at four things in this chapter. 5 names in Torah forever: Makla, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, Tirzah. They came before the full assembly at the tabernacle entrance and made their case. The Creator said, they speak what is right. When you have a legitimate case, bring it to the right authority and let the Creator rule. The case that changed the law. The daughters of Zelophehad did not just win their case. Their petition became the origin of a general inheritance law protecting every family in history in similar situations. A legitimate case brought with the right posture can become the foundation of a broader principle. The leader who prayed for his replacement, Moshe, heard the announcement of his own death and prayed for the congregation. Not grief, not argument, prayer for the people after him. The measure of a great leader is whether their last concern is the people remain. Succession requires the right person. Physical transfer and the public witness. Yahushua had the spirit. Moshe laid his hands on him. The congregation saw it. All three elements. Numbers 27 says, legitimate authority transfer is always done in the sight of the people being led. The question Numbers 27 leaves with you is there a case you have been holding privately that needs to be brought before the right authority? And when your season ends, make your last prayer be for the people who come after you. Thanks for walking through Numbers 27 with me. Like, share, subscribe to Torah Studio, and do not miss Numbers 28. The complete calendar of offerings. Tamid, Shabbat, Nunun, Pesach, Shavuot. The Creator's own worship schedule for his